Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. So, I wrote my research paper on the Weird Sisters in Macbeth. Some of the material I looked at the library was King James Demonology, Reginald Scott's Discovery of Witchcraft, a couple other treatises talking about the existence and the power that witches had. I also looked at a really cool book called The Book of Magical Charms, which was a book containing a lot of really interesting pictures and drawings of charms and spells and names of angels and demons. I was also able to get my hands on some really awesome secondary sources, and I referenced a lot Stuart Clark's Thinking with Demons and Mary E. Weisner's Witchcraft in Early Modern Europe, and they both just get really deep into the belief and culture surrounding witchcraft. I noticed during my research that a lot of the material I was referencing was either looking at witchcraft through a purely historical manner, just discussing the facts and the history surrounding witchcraft and the culture, or they were looking through a certain lens, specifically usually feminist lens and political lens, and seeing how witchcraft and the persecution of witches was used to as a means of misogyny or as a means of social control. And while that's all very interesting, it wasn't really the argument I wanted to focus on in my paper. I really wanted to explore how Shakespeare's depiction of the Weird Sisters held up in comparison to the conversation currently being held at the time when he was writing and depicting Macbeth. And I argued that Shakespeare used Macbeth as a means to give his idea of what a witch is and what a witch can do, and enter the conversation that was being highly argued and discussed during his time period. Because, interestingly, a lot of the treaties and other material that I was reading from that time period that discussed witches and argued for the existence and power of witches did it in a narrative format. So they told a story at the same time while making their argument. And I thought, what if Shakespeare was doing the same thing? Maybe it's something more than just a play. It was him entering the conversation as a dramatist, not just a scholar. I not only focused my analysis on certain supernatural scenes and the scenes pertaining to the Weird Sisters, but I also analyzed the language Shakespeare used and the rhythm he used. As Stuart Clark explains in his Thinking with Demons, the language surrounding witch and witchcraft was really particular, and there was a rhythm that could be found, and even in King James Demonology, that you could also see in Shakespeare's lines in Macbeth. Specifically, it was the use of contentio in offering two converse ideas within a sentence. And I think a lot of people know fair is foul and foul is fair. And so I explored that idea throughout all of the lines, and it was overwhelming, I would say, because you enter reading Macbeth being like, oh yeah, it's kind of spooky, it's supernatural, but looking at it through this language and through the history of witchcraft, there is so much more that is not explicitly stated, and it's you can feel it when you read it and when you hear it. And I didn't know I could fall in love with Macbeth any more than I already have, but here I am. So I had a fantastic time. It was just really fun. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys. Also, the comics from harkavagrant.com. Really cool artists. Check out their stuff. They have a lot of stuff on Shakespeare, and it's hilarious. I'll have a link to their stuff in the description below. All right, bye.